Hey babes, it's your girl Naomi Ida, and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be continuing my vinyl record collection mini-series. This video will cover the artists whose name starts with the letters J through M. Once again, in this video you'll see that I have more records from certain artists compared to others just because they're my favorite artists. And obviously when you're a fan of your favorite artist, you tend to invest more money into their work. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please subscribe and click the bell button so you're the first to know about my new videos. So the first record holds a lot of sentimental value, and the album is Diana Ross Presents the Jackson 5, which is the debut album by the Jackson 5. Literally everyone who knows me knows I am a huge fan of Michael Jackson, and a lot of records in this video are records by him, so buckle up you guys. I got this album about 5 years ago, and at the time for some reason, it was impossible to find online, in store, anywhere. I had no idea where to buy this record. And there was even a time when Spotify didn't even have this album either. I think it just got on Spotify recently. So I don't know, it's just so hard to find this album for some reason. But one day my dad and I were going through his collection, his and my mom's old collection of records, and lo and behold, it was in that collection. And I noticed that my late aunt's name is on the top corner of this record. She unfortunately passed away years before I was born, and I've heard so many stories from relatives about her, and I just never had my own personal connection to her, of course. So I like to think of this as my new connection to her, and I have a piece of her with me now. So yeah, it just holds a lot of sentimental value to me. My favorite songs off of this album is I Want You Back and Who's Loving You, which were the two biggest hits for this album. Next up is Looking Through the Window by the Jackson 5. I actually got this album the same day I got A Hard Day's Night. As I mentioned in my last video, I bought that album from a record shop in Alphabet City in Manhattan, and I don't remember the name of the place. I wish I did, unfortunately. But yeah, I got that at the same place. I actually don't listen to this album as often as I do others, and I honestly just bought it because it's a Jackson 5 album and I want it to be a part of my collection, and I want to make sure I can get their whole catalog at some point eventually, so this is part of the building blocks for that. But I do like their covers of Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing and Little Bitty Pretty One. Next up is The Jacksons by The Jacksons. This was their first album after they left Motown and retired the Jackson 5 name. So I ordered this online at a record shop that I think is located in Arizona. I don't remember. I like how this is the first album where all the members are grown up. There is not a single track on this album that I don't like, but to name a few, I do like Blues Away, Style of Life, and Living Together. My final album by the Jacksons / Jackson 5 is Victory, and can I just say that if I lived through the 80s, I would have totally gone to this concert. Totally gone and bought tickets to this tour, because I got this as a Christmas gift along with my record player and some other albums, and this is one of the very first records I've actually owned. My favorite song on this album is State of Shock, which features Mick Jagger, who, by the way, he stepped into the song when Freddie Mercury backs out of it, and there are actually some demos of the song with Freddie Mercury's vocals still in it, and it's somewhere on YouTube, so if I find it, I will for sure put a link down below. I think it's a pretty cool track. It's two of music's biggest stars singing together on one song, so I'd say check it out. Next up is Control by Janet Jackson, and I'm not gonna lie, I straight up stole this album from my mom. 80s Janet is my favorite era of hers. I need to get Rhythm Nation too, because this album, Rhythm Nation, whoop, oh, they're good. She is a queen in her own right, and I'm so happy she did not get caught in that shadow of her brothers, because she's incredible. I don't know what's in that Jackson blood, but everybody in that family is just so unbelievably fucking talented. Unbelievable. My favorite tracks on this album are Control, Nasty, and What Have You Done For Me Lately. Next up is Divinely Uninspired to a Hellish Extent by Louis Capaldi. This album really tugs at the heartstrings. First of all, his voice is phenomenal, and he sings with so much passion. He's actually a really funny dude too, despite how sad he looks right now. When I first heard Someone You Love, I just thought, who is this guy? He reminds me of Ed Sheeran a little bit, because they kind of share the same sound, but also not. I don't know. I got this record at Urban Outfitters, and you guys already know how much I love colored records. This one is red to match the album cover, and my favorite songs on this album are Maybe, Hollywood, Bruises, Before You Go, and of course Someone You Love. The next record is Can't Slow It Down by Lionel Richie, and this is another one I got from my uncle. And once again, I only took this album because of two songs, which are Hello and All Night Long. Next up is Cause I Love You by Lizzo. Even though this album came out last year, I still play it like it came out like last Friday. This was another album that helped me get out of my rut back in college. There is no way you can listen to this album and not feel empowered. This is starting to sound like an ad. Need a confidence boost? Cause I Love You by Lizzo. I bought this from Urban Outfitters, and you guys, wait till you see this. The record is fucking clear. This is by far the sexiest record I've ever seen in my life. Literally every song on this record is a bop, but some of my favorite are Soulmate, Better in Color, Jerome, and of course Truth Hurts. The next album in my collection is Bad by Michael Jackson, and this is actually the 25th anniversary edition, which is why there's all this cool art on it. It has it on this side as well as this side. So I would totally buy another one of these just as like decoration. So there's art on both sides, but I like the side with like the logo on it a lot. I think it's really cool with the graffiti art. This is one of my favorite albums by MJ. And my favorite songs on this album are Dirty Diana, Another Part of Me, and Just Good Friends, which also features Stevie Wonder. The next album is Dangerous by Michael Jackson, and this is another one of my top 3 favorite albums by him. I bought this from the Michael Jackson online store, and this is another tour I would have totally killed to see, but I didn't exist yet. And I just can't help but like every single track on this album, but some of my favorites are Given to Me, Black or White, and Keep the Faith. Next is a lesser popular album by MJ, and it's called Farewell My Summer Love. It's a compilation album filled with songs that were unreleased during his time at Motown. This album came out around the same time as Thriller, and it was about 10 years after him and his brothers left Motown. I love the title track, which is Farewell My Summer Love, as well as his cover of You Really Got a Hold on Me. Next up is Invincible, and I think this album is super underrated. It didn't receive a lot of commercial success compared to his previous albums, and it's also the last studio album he released before he died. So I bought this from Merch Bar, and when I bought this, I thought I bought one of the colored collector's editions, but it ended up being the original white cover. This album has so many great songs, but to name a few, I like Break of Dawn, Butterflies, Speechless, and Whatever Happens. Next, we have my favorite album by MJ, and that is Off the Wall. My uncle actually gave me the original version of this album, but the disc was so scratched. You couldn't even get through the first track, which was Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. Well, it stopped, and I had enough. So I ordered this one on Amazon, and I saved this one as decoration. I think this album is way better than Thriller. Off the Wall walks so Thriller can run, and there is not a single track on this album that I do not like. Some of my favorites are Rock With You, I Can't Help It, Girlfriend, and Burn This Disco Out. My last album by MJ is of course Thriller, and this is also the 25th anniversary edition of the album. And like the Bad 25 record, there's art on both sides of this vinyl. And like I said before, I love this album, but I do prefer his other albums. And yes, it is still the biggest selling studio album of all time. The Eagles' greatest hits album is a compilation album, so it doesn't count in my book. And my favorite songs on this album are PYT, The Girl Is Mine, Human Nature, and The Lady in My Life. Now on to the next artist. Next up is Perfect Angel by Minnie Riperton. This woman had the voice of an angel. The OG of whistle tones. She walked so Mariah can run, and that Ari can sprint. The fact that she could sing like that and also give the world one of the funniest comedians just goes to show how strong talent runs in that family. And it was so cute when Maya recreated this album cover when she hosted SNL. And I'm gonna be cliche for a second and say that my favorite track on this album is Loving You, and I'll forever be sad that I can't hit those whistle tones. The last album I'm gonna share with you guys today is the Porgy and Bess soundtrack performed by Miles Davis. This is another album I got from my uncle. He knows I like musicals, so he gave this to me to check out. I still haven't seen or read the play yet, and I have a rule where I don't listen to soundtracks until I've seen the show. The music is part of the storytelling, and I do not want any spoilers. I refused to listen to the Hamilton soundtrack until I saw it on Broadway 3 years after the show opened. I take my rule very seriously. So no, I haven't listened to the album yet, but of course I've heard the song Summertime before. Alright guys, that concludes part 2 of my record collection series. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in next week for part 3. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, while you're at it, please subscribe and click the bell button so you don't miss any of my future videos. Also, follow me on social media. I am always on my Instagram and my Twitter, and my other social media links will be listed down below. Thank you so much for watching, babes, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah! Bye.